Hey guys, welcome back to the NOS channel. You can see behind me here we got the 2021 C8 Corvette in Elkhart Lake Blue Metallic. Just got her all washed up. She's been sitting all winter and it's a beautiful sunny day here in the Okanagan. We're going to clean up the brake disc, take it out for a little boot. Gotta grab some stuff from the store anyway. And then we're going to come back and talk about the pros and the cons after about 5,000 kilometers on it. Had it for about a year, since last May. And yeah, we'll go over some of the things I like about it, some things I don't like about it, some things where I think they need to improve it. One of the things definitely being the brakes. And you can see here, this is why we're going to take it for a boot. Got some corrosion on them all around. So, got her all warmed up. Let's take it for a boot, come back and talk about it. So one of the things I like the least about it is the sound. It sounds fantastic from the outside, but inside, windows closed, loud mode on. We're gonna go from a dead stop here and punch it real hard. Barely hear anything. Barely hear the exhaust note inside, which is great if you're a New Balance wearing old dude that's, you know, in a midlife crisis. Me, personally, I like it loud. I have a 2009 Gallardo with the FI exhaust, and it is extremely loud. I love it. And I have the option to control the valves with that as well, just like I do with this. But I don't think I go anywhere in this in quiet mode unless it's super late at night and I'm trying to sneak home. I'll give her another punch here, and you'll see. It's quick. I love it, but I wish I could just hear it a bit more inside. On the outside, it is plenty loud. You know, if you go too much louder, it's going to start annoying people, pissing off the neighbors, attracting the police, things like that. I just wish there was a bit more in-cabin sound. So I have it in Z mode right now, and my Z mode is pretty much everything turned all the way up. So let's see if it's any louder with the windows down and get on it. Yeah, no, still way too quiet. That's with the exhaust valves all the way open, windows down, best chance of hearing it in the cab, and it's still pathetic. The Z06, however, with its crackles and burbles and whatnot, and the way they redesigned the exhaust apparently, I'm hoping will be a lot better. So we'll find out once that actually comes out. Let's get another pull here. I gave her a little more on that one. It wasn't so bad. It was a little bit louder. Sounds good, don't get me wrong. I just wanted to hurt my eardrums just a bit more. Alright, so we just pulled into the driveway of the shop. Let's see if we accomplished our mission to clean these brakes off and blowing some dust out of the engine. Then we'll go through everything that I like and dislike about the car. We got most of the corrosion off the fronts. The rears are looking better. It's good. Got some dirt on it already. Still a bit of corrosion on there. So, I've had this thing on the track twice now, and I burned through the first set of brake pads. It's one of the very first things I want to mention that is the brake pads themselves are extremely dusty, and they cook off really fast. So they're definitely not super sporty. They were nice and soft, they gripped well, whether it was cold or it was hot, but they left a buttload of brake dust all over everything, all of the time. and it's completely ruined the wheels. That's after being washed and cleaned, and it just doesn't get any cleaner than that. And I've tried multiple different cleaners, pretty much picked up anything I could think of, scrubbed them, washed them. Guess I should have been on top of it more after track days. But yeah, 2 track sessions down at Area 27, and I've completely killed brake pads and my wheels. So got some new ones potentially coming. I'm thinking either the Vossen HF4Ts or some wheels from Vivid Racing, forged wheels from Vivid Racing, and I think that's the route we're going to take. But if you got a better opinion, let me know in the comments. So next thing about the car, well, what I've done to it so far, it's a 2LT, and I didn't get the carbon fiber package originally. When I got the car, they were on constraint, and there were a lot of money that I probably didn't have at the time, but I ended up getting the carbon fiber side on GM ones, but they fit mediocrely. I had to put one hole in it, and then the front splitter, carbon fiber front splitter, which was very easy to install, looks really good, can't complain about that. I also did not get the high wing spoiler when I first got it, so now I've put the high wing spoiler on it, which I love. Between the skirts, the front lip, and the wing, it really just sets it off. The other thing I did was I wrapped the top half to look more like the convertible, so everything from the A-pillars here all the way up and over the back, and then just kind of followed the window line across right to a point here and up, and it really just makes it look a lot more sleek, more like a McLaren. And for the money that it costs, it really changed the look of the car, so I love that. Next thing's definitely gonna have to be the wheels, and it's gotta be lower. That's one thing I dislike about the car, is that it sits up so high. There's so much fender gap stock. It's just ridiculous how small the wheels look, even though it's a 19 in the front and a 20 in the rear. There's just so much wheel well, and it's very high to the ground. I only scrape a couple times at a few places I've been to, but I find it extremely high, especially in comparison to my Lambo, which is pretty well slammed. Thankfully the Lambo has front end lift. I did not opt for front end lift in this car. I didn't get anything different for seats either. I got the stock standard seats, and I did have a second C8 Corvette, and I did have the GT2 seats in that. Or these are just the GT1s, but do I think they're worth spending the extra money on the GT2 seats if you're not getting a 3LT car? Probably not. I quite enjoy these. They hug me quite well. One of the other main things I want to touch on, so we're 5,000 K in now. I find I constantly kick the door getting in and out, or I rub my feet on it. I always got dirt marks there and down there. Still have yet to detail the interior. But the instrument cluster, actually I want to touch base on that while we're in here. Quite a lot of buttons, but after a while you kind of get used to it. All the driver stuff is up at the top here, passenger stuff is down at the bottom, and it's really not that bad at all. So let's pop the back open here and the front. One thing I really do like is the soft close on this deck. So just went to the store. We'll pick up my groceries out of the back here I need for dinner, and they're nice and toasty warm, which could be a problem if obviously you're going to get groceries in your C8 Corvette. Is, you know, any milk or ice cream, things like that are going to get very, very warm back here behind the engine. Now, the one thing I do like is you can fit 2 sets of golf clubs in here. It is very roomy. You can fit a lot of groceries. I have done it. I've packed it full of groceries for camping, and then filled the entire front end with beverages, we'll say, for camping as well. And there was more than plenty enough space for it. Biggest pet peeve and the hardest thing to deal with is the engine bay. I just watched this thing, and there's no easy way to clean this thing. All the water funnels in through the hatch, and the water just drips in there, gets everything filthy, and it fogs up the back glass. So you gotta try and clean that every single time, and it's just dirty all the time. Same with the back window, and then the back window on the hatch as well. You have to clean it every single time, and then the engine bay always just stinks afterwards. But other than that, it's a pretty good car. It grips really well on the track. It does push a little bit. I feel like the front tires need to be a bit wider, so we're going to hopefully try and address that when we get new wheels and tires for it. These are the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's on the car, and they seem to be holding up well. Even after a few track days, they are definitely looking rough, being that it was on track. However, there's still lots of tread life left. I could probably get a few more sessions out of them. Not nearly as sticky as like a Super Sport, but more than adequate for just your weekend here and there at the track type thing. Speaking of track use, I had to add more transmission fluid to it because that's what they say to do if you're going to be tracking it, which was quite the pain in the butt, to be honest. They should have a filler neck somewhere to get in to add more transmission fluid, but they don't. So you have to take off this here, remove this, and then there's a panel behind there that you take off and remove, and then you got to get in here and remove the intake. Sorry, my fingers. Now onto the front. I do really like how much space there is. Ton of room. You could probably fit 150 beers in there if you wanted to. Little safety release latch. Plus you got your plug-in for I believe you can plug your charger into there to back charge your battery while you're in winter storage. This thing here, best thing hands down. Keep it in my car all the time for when I do wash it, and then you just wipe it down after, and you get a lot less water spots. Highly recommend picking one of those up. Same thing up in here. Just washed it, but look at that. All the water just flows down onto the plastics. And unless you open everything up and give it a wipe down afterwards, it's going to continue to be filthy. So I got to address that. Hit that up still when I'm done. But figured I'd make this video for you guys first. Now, onto the interior and those kind of specs. One thing I do love is the front camera on the car. So you got your PDR, performance data recorder, for when you're on track, which is really cool. You can just put an SD card right in the glove box, and it records every single time you drive if you set it up that way. And then this button here, the front camera, so if we're going to be pulling into the shop shortly here, you press that and you can see everything that's going on. So let's fire it up and have a look. Press the front camera button and you can see the front of the car. This is the view I usually keep it on. Then you can see if you're going to clip anything. Same thing when you're pulling into grocery stores. You can see if you're going to hit the curb or not. Probably one of the most handiest features on this car that I really enjoy. And I really do enjoy the square steering wheel. I love it. It's super comfortable in the hands. Another thing I really dislike is that if you are in Z mode to make the exhaust loud, or you put it in track mode, either which way, my Z mode and my track mode are set up the same, and it basically allows you to have stiff steering, stiff brakes, really more connected with the car, and the exhaust is loud. However, if you keep it in either Z mode or track mode, when you turn the car off and you turn it back on, it always goes back to tour mode, which quiets down the exhaust, which I really dislike because I'm never gonna keep it in that mode, ever. It needs to be way louder. You need to really liven this thing up inside the cabin at least. I've heard one other car at the track that was not straight pipe, but they got rid of the catalytic converters, and it was extremely loud, almost too loud, and I'm not sure I want to do that. So yeah, what's next for this car? I don't know, other than wheels and tires. That's a definite must, and then I have a feeling we're going to have to lower it a bunch because bigger wheels and tires are going to set it up even more like a truck. So we will do that probably in the next episode or two, but I appreciate you guys tuning in to the NOS channel. Hit us up on YouTube, North Okanagan Speed. We're also on TikTok and Instagram, Facebook. Find us on all your platforms anyway, but make sure to hit that like and subscribe button here on YouTube. It's part of the goal, get monetized. Once I get 4,000 hours of viewed content plus 1,000 subscribers, then I can start making some money. And I got some big plans, not necessarily for myself, but for the community. I'm wanting to, put that money back into the community and try and find a place that we can drive these cars aggressively, or any cars that's affordable for kids of any age. When I was growing up, I had, nowhere to really drive aggressively. I got caught street racing. I lost my license. I'm still enjoying speed. I still, have nowhere to really go and burn a set of tires off if I wanted to, other than Area 27, but that's an extremely expensive membership, members only type thing, which thankfully I am happy to be a part of, which I love. However, it's, a whole trip to go way down there. It's a ways for me where, young kids, high school kids, just getting their license, it'd be great to really build somewhere, just a parking lot that we can, legally go drift or do burnouts, to the burnout box, something along those lines. So that's the end goal here, is not necessarily to, help pay for more cars for myself. It'd be nice to help pay for the tires that I want to burn off, but ultimately I want to, open up somewhere that's, $10, $20 to get in, something like that, and just pave a big flat open parking lot. We can set up autocross, we can just go out and do drift events. Nowhere around here does drifting anymore. The racetrack in Vernon got shut down, and Penticton Speedway no longer does drifting or anything like that, so it'd be great for anybody that just wants to practice, go slide around, burn a set of tires off, do it legally and safely, which, they always say, the police say, the news says, street racing, keep it off the streets, go to a track. Well, we don't really have one. We don't really have anywhere to do this style of driving. Sure, we got an 8-mile drag strip about an hour or so away, and we got Area 27 again, which is a road course, which is fantastic. However, for, majority of the people that are driving recklessly on the street, which are young kids with just getting their licenses, they will never be able to afford to go there. So, or well, not at their age anyway. So there's nowhere safe for these young kids to do it, and that is my end goal. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. It's for a good cause. Eventually, we got to get there. But until then, I'm going to keep making content, trying to get those viewers, trying to get those subscribers, and trying to get those hours so that we can start making some money here. So stay tuned for hopefully wheels and tires in the next episode, and also got to do a review on the Lamborghini Gallardo that I have. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.